So here's our last multiplication rule that we're going to look at. We're going to be raising a product to a power. So here, when we look inside of our parentheses, we have x times y. So we're going to take the parentheses, raise it to the third power. So since the parentheses is our base, we're going to take the parentheses times itself, the 3 times for our exponent. And then when we look, it's all multiplication. So we have x times x times x, x to the third, y times y times y, y to the third. Same thing here with 2x raised to the third power. So 2x is understood to be the product of 2 times x. So again, we're taking the parentheses times itself 3 times. So 2 times 2 times 2 is 2 to the third. And x times x is x to the third. We're going to multiply out 2 to the third. 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. So we have 8 x to the third for our answer. So the rule for raising a product to a power, we're going to distribute the exponent to each part of the product. So notice we have x times y to the third, and it becomes x to the third, y to the third. And we have 2x to the third, and it becomes 2 to the third times x to the third. So let's do some practice using those. So here, example A, 5A is this. I have the parentheses 4 times m raised to the third. So that means I have 4 to the third times m to the third. And 4 to the third is 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 4 is 64. M to the third. Example C, this time I have a product of 3 things, and I'm going to take each of these and raise it to the second power. So I'm going to have 3 to the second power times x to the fourth to the second power times y to the second power. So 3 squared is 9. X to the fourth to the raised to the second, so power to power I multiply and get x to the eighth, and then y to the second. Example 6a, we're going to start having to take some steps. So you see here we've got, we have a power to a power, so some exponents, and we got some multiplication. Some more exponents over here. So because of PEMDAS, we're going to do our exponents first. So n to the fifth raised to the second, I'm going to multiply my exponents, power to a power. So that's n to the 10th times. And then here, inside of here, I have a product to the third power. So I'm going to take and distribute my 3 into each of those exponent spots. So I'm going to have 4 to the third times m to the third times then n squared raised to the third power. So we need to go ahead and multiply this out, and it becomes n to the 6th. So I have n to the 10th. 4 to the third we've talked about was 64 times m to the third times, and then power to a power, I'm going to multiply 2 times 3 and get 6. So I'm going to put my numerical coefficient first, 64. I have just the base of m with an exponent of 3, so m to the third. And then I'm going to come in here and multiply my 2 bases of n. And when I multiply those, I keep my base of n and add 10 plus 6 and get 16. All right, let's do one more example, example B. And it's along the same lines as that last one. I need to do my exponents first. So I have x to the second raised to the second. So I'm going to multiply and get x to the fourth times, these parentheses are multiplied. And then I have a product to the fourth power. So I'm going to distribute the fourth power in and get 3 to the fourth times x to the fourth times y to the fifth raised to the fourth, which is y to the 20th. Then 3 to the fourth is 81, so I'm going to put my 81 out front. I have that memorized, and you will too pretty soon. 3 times 3 is 9, and then the other 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 9 is 81. Then my x's, I'm going to combine them, and I'm multiplying, so I'm going to add 4 plus 4 and get 8, and then I have y to the 20th. So you notice we skipped a few of these examples. So we'll come back next class and we'll go over these again and give you an opportunity to ask some questions.